Hello everyone, myself Priyanka Vijay Kulkarni. Today we'll learn about the carbohydrate metabolism. There are many pathways for this carbohydrate metabolism, but in this video we'll see about the very first pathway of this metabolism, that is nothing but the glycolysis. In the very first slide only, I mentioned one link, and when you click on this link, you get the carbohydrate calculator. It is very helpful to calculate the carbohydrate content or what amount of carbohydrate is required to our body, and related to this all information is there in this link. So if you are interested, do click this link and goes for the carbohydrate calculator. Okay, very first of all we'll see which are the pathways which comes under the carbohydrate metabolism. Actually there are the 10 major pathways which are comes under this carbohydrate metabolism, that are the glycolysis, TCA cycle, gluconeogenesis, glycogenesis, glycogenolysis, HMP shunt, uronic acid pathway, galactose metabolism, fructose metabolism, and amino sugar metabolism. But in this video we'll go for the first metabolism, that is the glycolysis. Yes, glycolysis means in its name only the starting material must be glucose. Glucose is a basic and the simple sugar which is very essential to our body for the production of energy. So whenever you take your food or through the diet, you take the different types of the sugar or different types of the proteins and fat in your body. So this video regarding to the carbohydrates, so we'll concentrate only on the sugars and the carbs. So through the food you take the different types of the sugar into your body, like the lactose, sucrose, glycogen, starch, and moreover. Then further, this complex sugar will be degraded in your body to the simple sugar, and that simple sugar is nothing but the glucose. So this glucose molecule is very important, and this metabolism of this glucose is occurs in each and every cells of your body to get or to fulfillment of the energy requirement. So whatever the glucose which get you from the catabolism of these all sugars, this glucose molecule will released by in the bloodstream. So what I told you, that for the metabolism of that glucose must be entered into the different types of the cells of our body. So for the entry, that glucose is not permeable with the cell membrane or the plasma membrane. So for the entry, it requires the particular transporter in the plasma membrane of that cells or any type of the cells. And the another point of view is that this transport of glucose from the blood to the any type of the cells, it is depend upon the particular hormone, and that hormone is known as the insulin hormone. So there are two types of the systems is present in our body for the transport of glucose to the different types of the cells for its metabolism, and that is the first is the insulin independent transport system of glucose, and second is the insulin dependent transport system of the glucose. So means hormone dependent and hormone independent. So first we'll see about the insulin independent transport system of the glucose. So in this case, from its name only, that the transport of glucose does not depend upon the insulin, and there are some cells in our body which are totally depend upon the glucose only as a source of energy. So these particular cells are cells of our hepatocytes, then erythrocytes means RBC, then the brain cells, and cornea cells means eyesight. Okay, cornea, brain, RBCs and hepatocytes. These are the 4 cells which are totally 100% depend upon the glucose for the production of the energy. In your body, each and every cell is dependent on the glucose, but these 4 cells are majorly depend on the glucose. So in these 4 cells, what happened? There is a transporter system of the glucose which is insulin independent. So the insulin independent transport of glucose is known as GLUT1. Okay, GLUT1 means glucose transporter. Yes, so it is GLUT1 cells. Where it is present? It is present in the 4 types of the GLUT1 receptor or transporter. It is present in the 4 type of the cells, and that cells are hepatocytes, erythrocytes, brain cells and the cornea of the eye. Yes, and the second thing is the insulin dependent transport system. Means the insulin is required for the transport of the glucose from the blood to the particular cell. And most probable examples are given over here, that is the muscles and the adipose tissue. So transporter is required. So for the insulin dependent transporter, there is a particular another transporter for the glucose, that is known as the GLUT4 transporter. So this GLUT4 transporter, it is probably present in the muscles and the adipose tissue. So yes, in this figure we can see there is a blood stream is given and the muscle cell is drawn. Okay, it is insulin dependent, so insulin is required. So when the insulin which is present in the blood, it goes and binds to the insulin receptor which is present onto the muscle cells, then that receptor get activated, then it further activate the IRS1 to the activated form, and this activated IRS1 will further activate the PI3 kinase. Kinase means what? Kinase means, what is the function of enzyme kinase? Addition of phosphate group. Okay, so PI3 kinase will become activated, and further this kinase will phosphorylate the GLUT4 which is inactivated form, which is present in the cytoplasm of the muscle cell. So it will get activated by the phosphorylation. After activation, this GLUT4 from the cytoplasm, it goes to the plasma membrane of that muscle cells, and so that GLUT4 transporter will get available for the glucose molecule to transport of itself from the bloodstream to the muscle cells, and further in the muscle cell cytoplasm the glycolysis process or the metabolism of that thing of that glucose is happened, or either storage of that glucose in the form of glycogen is occurs. Okay, this is all about the insulin dependent transporter system and insulin independent transporter system. So type 2 diabetes mellitus. Type 2 diabetes mellitus, this condition is occurs in the patients due to the reduction in the quantity of GLUT4 in a insulin deficiency. Okay, means what? If there is a insulin deficiency is occurs in the body, then what happen? It cannot bind to its receptor, it cannot activate the PI3 kinase, and so it cannot further activate the GLUT4 receptor. So it cannot go and binds to the plasma membrane, and glucose cannot enter into the cell. So basically what happened, if there is an insulin deficiency, then GLUT4 quantity on the plasma membrane get reduced, and so that the glucose cannot be entered into the muscle cells, and the concentration of glucose in the blood cell will be increases, and so the resultant patient will show the type 2 diabetes mellitus conditions. Insulin resistance is observed in a tissue. In such a patient, what happen, if there is a insulin also present, then that cells or that receptor, insulin receptor, it may be resistant to that, means it cannot show that functions. Okay, this is all about the entry of glucose into the cell. After the entry of glucose into the cell, what happened, I told you what is the site of glycolysis, or where this glycolysis process occurs. It occurs into the cytoplasm of the each and or every cell. Okay, means whatever the enzyme which is required for the glycolysis process, that enzyme must be present in the cytoplasm of that cell. So that first point is entry of glucose into the cell, it is done. Then we'll go for the our pathway, that is the glycolysis pathway. It is also known as the Embedden and Mayerhof pathway by its name of researcher or scientist, or EM pathway. Okay, so what is the very basic definition of the glycolysis? Glycolysis, it is a sequence of reaction by converting the glucose molecule to the pyruvate molecule with the production of ATP. Okay, with the production of ATP means what? In glycolysis, what happened? There is a series of reaction. Actually, there are 10 steps of the reaction. Okay, through which the glucose molecule is converted to the pyruvate molecule, and the ATP, total 2 ATP molecules of the ATP produced in this glycolysis pathway. Okay, we'll see the little bit silent features of this glycolysis pathway, which I already told to you. Still we see it takes place in the all types of the cells of your body. Whatever the enzymes which are required for the glycolysis, it is present in the cytoplasm of the cells. Pyruvate or lactate. Okay, there are two products, anaerobic and aerobic, depend on that conditions. So lactate is an end product in case of the anaerobic conditions. Anaerobic means what? Lack of oxygen. And pyruvate is produced in case of the aerobic conditions, and whatever the pyruvate is produced, it is finally oxidized to the carbon dioxide and the water molecule. Okay, then the tissue which don't have the mitochondria in that cells, or the cells which don't have the mitochondria, for that cells the major pathway for the ATP synthesis is glycolysis. Okay, so which are that cells who don't have the mitochondria in that particular cells? I already told you in a previous slide that the cells are brain cells, erythrocyte cells, cornea cells, and some hepatocyte cells. These four cells, basically from that brain cells and the RBC cells and cornea cells, they don't have the mitochondria in their cells, so they totally depend upon the glucose for the production of ATP, or the major pathway for ATP synthesis in that cell is glycolysis. It is very essential for the brain, as I told you, depend on the glucose for the energy. Glycolysis is a central metabolic pathway. Okay, and a reversal of glycolysis is known as the gluconeogenesis, means from pyruvate to glucose. It is known as gluconeogenesis. Okay, uh, as I told you, there are the 10 total reaction through which glucose is converted to the pyruvate, and these 10 stages or the 10 steps are divided into 2 or 3 steps. 2 step means 2 phases are there, like the preparatory phase and the payoff phase. Okay, means first 5 steps comes under the preparatory phase, and the last 5 steps are comes under the what, payoff phase. Payoff means what, or preparatory means what, in the preparatory phase there is a ATP is utilized, and in the payoff phase the ATP is produced by the 2 substrate level phosphorylation. We'll see in details about it. Okay, but yes, there are you can say there are the 2 types of the phases, or there are 3 types of the phases, like the energy investment phase, splitting phase, and energy generation phase. You can say like this, or you can say like that also, that it is divided into the 2 stages, preparatory phase and the payoff phase. Yes, the all things or the all pathway is given over here. I'll tell you step by step. By going for that pathway, we'll directly go for the pathway. So these are the first 5 steps of the glycolysis. We can call it as a preparatory phase. Okay, so yes, we'll see step by step. When you ingest your food, okay, when you ingest your food, you take the different types of the sugar, but when that sugar goes to your body catabolizes that sugar to the simple sugar or the simple unit, that is nothing but the glucose molecule. Now this glucose molecule will release into your blood, and from that blood, that glucose molecule through the different types of the transporter will enter into the different types of the cells. And now in the different types of the cell cytoplasm, this glycolysis processes happen. So when this glucose molecule will enter into the cell, it will be a free glucose. So that free glucose is very rapidly phosphorylated by the particular enzyme which is known as hexokinase or glucokinase. Okay, what it do? This enzyme utilizes the ATP molecule, okay, for the phosphorylation. Means what? This enzyme split out the ATP molecule to the ADP and the PI, means phosphate, and this phosphate will go and bind to the glucose molecule, so that that free glucose will become the glucose 6 phosphate. Understood? Yes, this hexokinase will split the ATP to the ADP and PI, and that PI will transport to the glucose, and so that glucose will become the glucose 6 phosphate. What is the necessary to do this thing very rapidly? Because whatever the phosphorylated sugar which is present in the cells, it do not radially penetrate into the cell membrane without any carrier. Okay, that there is a chances that whatever the glucose come inside the cell, it will again go back to the bloodstream. So to avoid this condition, immediately phosphorylation of that sugar is necessary. So if the sugar is phosphorylated, then it cannot go back to the blood. Okay, it has to be remain into the cells. So that is the important thing, to rapidly phosphorylate the glucose molecule. Okay, so that the glucose cannot go outside of the cells, and that should be or that must be entered into the glycolysis pathway. So first step is what? First step is conversion of glucose to the glucose 6-phosphate, which is catalyzed by the enzyme hexokinase by utilization of the ATP molecule. Understood why ATP is utilized? For the phosphate group, transport of phosphate group. Okay. Second step. Yes, whatever the glucose 6-phosphate is produced, this glucose 6-phosphate has the very different fates into the cell. Which are their fates? Means either this glucose 6-phosphate will enter to the glycolysis, it may enter to the glucogenesis, it may enter to the gluconeogenesis, or it may enter to the HMP shunt. There are the 4 different fates for this glucose 6-phosphate, and to choose which phase or to choose its fate is depend upon the condition of that cell. Okay, so this glucose 6 in the glycolysis, this glucose 6-phosphate is further converted to the fructose 6-phosphate. Okay, glucose is a aldose sugar and fructose is a ketose sugar. So here aldoses to ketosis transformation is occur, it is known as isomerization. Okay, so which enzyme comes over here? Phosphohexoisomerase. Okay, phospho means what? Phosphate. Okay, hexo or gluco, hexo means what? 6 carbon ring. Glucose is what? 6 carbon ring. Okay, so from 6 carbon ring we are going for the fructose. Okay, so phosphohexoisomerases. Isomerases means what? Aldoses to ketosis. So it is a these two are the isomers of each other, so isomerases enzyme is utilized. Okay, this enzyme will require the magnesium ion for the conversion of glucose 6-phosphate to the fructose 6-phosphate. And yes, in total I will tell you in each and every step, but the first step of this glucose to glucose 6-phosphate, it is a irreversible step. Okay, means it is not reversible. So in total glycolysis there are only 3 steps which are irreversible, and that 3 steps are the rate limiting steps or the regulatory steps of the glycolysis, and remaining all steps are the reversible steps. Okay, so first step, hexokinase enzyme, that first step is a what? It is a irreversible. Remember the irreversible steps. Okay, first hexokinase. Okay, it is a irreversible steps. Second, phosphoglucoisomerases, it converts glucose 6-phosphate to the fructose 6-phosphate. It is a reversible step, requires the magnesium ion. Next is what? Fructose 6-phosphate to fructose 1,6-bisphosphate. Okay, now again see here, fructose 6-phosphate to fructose 1,6-bisphosphate means one more phosphate group is added. So what is the source of that phosphate group? The source must be the ATP molecule. Okay, and which enzyme catalyzes this step? Phosphofructokinase. Kinase. Okay, hexokinase. Kinase means what? Kinase means addition of phosphate group. Okay, so kinase enzyme, phosphofructokinase. So ATP is required. This kinase enzyme will split out the ATP molecule to the ADP and the PI, and this PI molecule will transfer to the fructose 6-phosphate so that it will become a fructose 1,6-bisphosphate. Why it is called as the bisphosphate and not the diphosphate? There is a difference between the bisphosphate and the diphosphate. Bis means also 2 and di means also 2 molecule of phosphate. Yes, you can see here diphosphate. When we use the term diphosphate, when the phosphate group or the new phosphate group is added to the previous phosphate group. Okay, when the new phosphate group which we have to add, it will be added to the previous phosphate group, okay, in a sequence, then it is known as the diphosphate. Where here which word is used? Bisphosphate. Bisphosphate means what? The you can see in a structure the new phosphate group is not added to the previous phosphate, it is added to the another fifth number of carbon, okay, or the sixth number of carbon of this fructose, okay. So and the first phosphate is where? The first phosphate fructose, look in fructose 6 phosphate, the phosphate group is where? The phosphate group is added at the sixth position, okay, sixth carbon position. And phosphofructokinase, it add where? It added the phosphate group at the first carbon position. So at the two different carbon, two phosphates are added, so it is a bisphosphate, not a diphosphate. Understood the differences? Okay. So there is a one enzyme phosphofructokinase, it is also irreversible step. Step number 3, it is a important, it is a regulatory enzyme in this pathway, very important enzyme. First one is what? Hexokinase. Second one is phosphofructokinase. First step is irreversible, third step is irreversible, okay. So what form? Fructose 1,6 bisphosphate is formed. Yes. Now this fructose 1,6 bisphosphate, it is a very high energy compound, okay, it is very high energy compound. And as I told you, PFK, it is also that enzyme phosphofructokinase, short form is PFK. It is a rate limiting step, it is controlled by the its substrate, that is the substrate concentration, fructose 6 phosphate and the ATP. Means if there is a no ATP molecule or the lack of ATP, or if the fructose 6 phosphate is not present, then fructose PFK enzyme will not work, okay. Yes. Now what is produced? Fructose 1,6 bisphosphate is produced. Now next step is a splitting steps, okay. Splitting means what? Fructose is what? Fructose is 6 carbon compound, and we have to split this fructose or the 6 carbon compound into the 3 carbon compound, so two groups are formed, okay, which and this splitting step is catalyzed by the enzyme aldolase, okay. Aldolase catalyzes the splitting of fructose 6 phosphate to the two product 3 carbon compound, that is the glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate and the dihydroxyacetone phosphate DHAP, and the glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate. These both are the 3 carbon compounds. Now this dihydroxyacetone phosphate and the glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate, these are the isomers of each other, okay. What are they? They are the isomers of each other. So there is a particular enzyme, isomerase enzyme, which are very helpful for the interconversion of dihydroxyacetone phosphate and glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate with each other. So finally in the result, by the isomerization, the dihydroxyacetone phosphate will converted to glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate. So how many glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate molecule is formed over here? 2 molecules, okay, 1 and 2, 3 carbon compounds. Yes. So finally from the one glucose molecule, 2 molecules of glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate we will get. This is also reversible step. Just everything is reversible over here, only 3 steps are irreversible. Which are the 3 steps? Hexokinase and phosphofructokinase, these are the 2, and we'll see the further one, okay. Understood up to this? This is called as the preparatory phase. These are the first 5 steps: glucose to glucose 6 phosphate, to fructose 6 phosphate, to fructose 1,6 bisphosphate, to the dihydroxyacetone phosphate and glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate. From that the isomerization is occurs and the glyceraldehyde, 2 molecules of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate is produced. And in this there are the 2 steps which are irreversible and which are rate limiting, and which are regulatory enzymes are there, that is the hexokinase and the phosphofructokinase. These 2 are irreversible steps, and the ATP molecule is utilized here. How many ATP is utilized? 2 ATP molecule is utilized over here up till now. Next we'll go for the next 5 steps, that is the payoff phase. PAYOFF, payoff phase. Yes, now remember, from this there are the 2 molecules. Up till now there is only one molecule, but now it is a 2 molecule of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Yes, so now in a next step, this glyceraldehyde, 2 molecules of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate is converted to the 2 molecule of 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate. Why bis? Because the 2 phosphate are attached to the 2 different carbon number. Okay, so glyceraldehyde 2 molecules of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate is converted to the 2 molecules of the 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate. It is catalyzed by which enzyme? Catalyzed by the glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase enzyme. The enzyme, what is its name? Dehydrogenase. Means what? Means removal of hydrogen. Okay, if you want to remove the hydrogen, then there must be something to accept that hydrogen, and that must be NAD. So here 2 molecules. Why? Because 2 glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. From here now everything is 2 molecule. Okay, remember this. So 2 molecules of NAD is required to carry the 2 molecules of H plus, so it become the NADH. Yes, so what is the product here? NADH and the 2 molecules of 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate. Further, and yes, what is the fate of this NADH in case of an aerobic condition? When the oxygen is there, then this NADH is passes to the electron transport chain. Okay, and one NADH molecule, it codes for the 2.5 molecules of ATP. So total there is the, so here how many NADH molecule? 2 molecule. One NADH code for 2.5, so 2 code for 5 ATP molecules in the electron transport chain when there is a aerobic condition. Okay, just remember this, that 2 molecule of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate is converted to the 2 molecules of the 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate by the enzyme dehydrogenase, means removal of the 2 molecules of hydrogen. And who are the acceptors of this hydrogen? NAD. Yes, next step. What is the next step? Conversion of 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate to the 3-phosphoglycerate molecule. Means see here, bisphosphoglycerate to phosphoglycerate means removal of phosphate group. Okay, removal of what? Removal of phosphate group. So there must be acceptor of the phosphate group. Who is the acceptor? ADP is the acceptor of the phosphate. So ADP plus Pi, it will become the ATP. But how many molecules of ATP? 2 molecules. Okay, in payoff phase everything numbers is 2 molecules is produced. Okay, and it is catalyzed by which enzyme? Phosphoglycerokinase enzyme. Okay, or the phosphoglycerate kinase enzyme catalyzes conversion of 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate to the phosphoglycerate by the formation of 2 molecules of ATP. Okay, this step is called as the substrate level phosphorylation. What is it called as? Substrate level phosphorylation. Means what? That is, the production of high energy phosphate is coupled with the conversion of substrate to the product. This is the proper definition of substrate level phosphorylation. What? Production of high energy phosphate is coupled with the conversion of substrate to the product. It is a reversible step. So what happened in this step? In this step, the two molecules of ATP is formed by transferring the phosphate molecule from the 1,3-bis phosphoglycerate to the ADP. Okay, therefore it is referred as a substrate level phosphorylation. Means what? Formation of ATP is done, but how? By transferring the two molecules of phosphate and conversion of substrate to the product. Okay, so it is called as substrate level phosphorylation. Which enzyme? Phosphoglycerate kinase enzyme. Okay, so two molecules of ATP is produced, and what is produced? 3-phosphoglycerate is produced. Now next step. What is the next step? Isomerization reaction. Next step is isomerization reaction. Means just the position of phosphate you have to change from the third number of carbon to the 2 number of carbon. You have to change the position of phosphate group. So it is a isomerization reaction, and which enzyme is utilized over here? Phosphoglycerate mutase. Okay, what does phosphoglycerate mutase do? It convert the 3-phosphoglycerate to the 2-phosphoglycerate. Okay, next step is what? 2-phosphoglycerate is converted to the phosphoenol pyruvate. Yes, this phosphoenol pyruvate, it is a energy rich compound. Okay, and this conversion of 2-phosphoglycerate to phosphoenol pyruvate is done by the enzyme enolase. Fine. Yes, then in this step the magnesium ion and manganese ion is essential, and inhibitor of this enolase enzyme is a fluoride molecule. Okay, which molecule? Fluoride molecule is an inhibitor of enolase enzyme. Okay, now next and the last step of this pathway is conversion of 2 molecules of phosphoenol pyruvate to the 2 molecules of the pyruvate, and this is catalyzed by which enzyme? Pyruvate kinase enzyme. Again, kinase means what? Transport of phosphate group. Yes, so who is the acceptor of that phosphate? ADP molecules. How many? Number is 2. Okay, so 2 ADP will converted into the 2 ATP molecules, and in this way the phosphoenol pyruvate is converted to the pyruvate molecule in the aerobic condition, and further in the anaerobic condition that pyruvate is converted into the lactate by the lactate dehydrogenase enzyme. Yes, so we can see here overall yes, and this is the last step. No, phosphoenol pyruvate to pyruvate, this is a irreversible step, and this is also rate limiting step. Okay, which I told you in total 10 steps, which are the 3 steps which are irreversible, rate limiting and regulatory steps? The first step, glucose to glucose 6-phosphate catalyzed by the hexokinase. Then phosphofructokinase step, third step, and the last step, that is the pyruvate kinase, convert the phosphoenol pyruvate to the pyruvate, and here the 2 molecules of ATP is produced. But in a first 2 step, that is glucose to glucose 6-phosphate and fructose 6-phosphate to fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, the 1 molecule of ATP is utilized. Okay, this 2 irreversible stage, and in the third irreversible stage the 2 molecules of ATP is formed. Okay, which are the 3 important enzyme? Hexokinase, phosphofructokinase and the pyruvate kinase. Okay, understood. So in the payoff phase, what is produced? 2 molecule of NADH, 2 molecule of ATP. 2 molecule of ATP means total 4 molecule of ATP and 2 molecule of NADH is produced in case of the payoff phase. Yes, okay, So overall, again, glucose to glucose 6 phosphate to fructose 6 phosphate, fructose 6 phosphate to fructose 1,6 bis phosphate to THAP and glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate, then 2 molecules of glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate to the 2 molecules of 1,3 bis phosphoglycerate, 2 molecules of 1,3 bis phosphoglycerate to the 2 molecules of 3 phosphoglycerate to the 2 molecules of phosphoglycerate to the phosphoenol pyruvate and to the 2 molecules of pyruvate. This is all about the glycolysis, their important enzymes. Yes, total energy production of glycolysis. Total, what I am using word total ATP production, means whatever ATP produced minus ATP utilized. Okay, in aerobic conditions, or we can say in the absence of oxygen, in the anaerobic condition, what happened, the substrate level phosphorylation, I told you, in a payoff phase 4 ATP molecule is produced. Okay, and in the preparatory phase, how many ATP is utilized? 2 ATP is utilized. So net energy, how many ATP is produced? In a anaerobic glycolysis, 2 molecules of ATP is produced. Okay, yes, and in the presence of oxygen or in the aerobic conditions, the same 4 ATP by the substrate level phosphorylation in a payoff phase, 2 ATP is utilized in the preparatory phase. Okay, and but here we have to consider about the NADH. Okay, as I told you, in a payoff phase, if NADH molecule, 2 molecules of NADH produce, it goes to the ETC, electron transport chain, and as I told you, 1 molecule of NADH codes for the 2.5 molecules of ATP. So 2 NADH means 5 molecules of ATP. Okay, so yes, here 7 to 6 molecules of total ATP is produced, or here in this calculation the value of one NADH molecule is 3 is taken, but the standard thing is 2.5. okay, so the net production of ATP is what? The net production of ATP is, or the final products of this, the final products of the glycolysis is what? 2 molecules of ATP plus 2 molecules of pyruvate plus 2 molecules of NADH. Okay, this is the final product of your glycolysis pathway. Okay, so that's it. It is all about the glycolysis. Yes, thank you.